you can get into a taxi and you have like a 55-year-old taxi driver that doesn't speak any English, and he'll tell you like, what do you do for work? And if you just tell him dispatch, he'll be like, oh, like I know my friend's brother works in dispatch. Like, you could talk to like a random stranger and they know what dispatch is. They know what trucking is. It's like a coveted job, bro. Like that gives you like some status, you know. People are, oh, they work for an American company. Like everyone assumes we're making like $1 million, which obviously like, you know, it's not true. But like the national average salary is $600.
Okay.
So if you're making 1,000 plus, like you're okay, you're good. Yeah, people are like, you know, like you have some status out here. So.
This episode is brought to you by Isometric Technologies, ISO, the ultimate freight broker's secret weapon. With ISO, you'll have access to industry-wide service performance benchmarks, dynamic carrier and customer scorecards, and powerful analytics so you can understand your service strengths, address your weaknesses, and differentiate your carrier network from the competition. To learn more and get started, visit iso.io today. It's crazy. So today's Monday. We're about to go to the airport like in a couple hours, but you live in Belgrade, like Serbia. You've been living here for a while. Could you like tell a little bit about your story? Because you were born and raised in Canada, and then like what made you move out here?
I mean, basically like when COVID happened, Canada got like really shut down. So like I was working as a plumber, like obviously doing house calls, and COVID made it like really tough to work. So a lot of Canadians ended up just not being able to work. We got like the benefit from the government for like a little bit of money every month, you know, to try to keep everyone on their feet. And then my grandparents retired. They got their pensions and they were like, oh, we're going to go back to Serbia because, you know, they worked there like 40 years. And I've always been told to go to Serbia, you know, like visit. So now my grandparents were leaving. They're like, hey, come, you know, for like a little vacation. You know, like you're not doing anything in Canada anyways, like because of COVID. So I was like, yeah, like no problem. On my second day of being here, I called back home and I was like, I quit. I'm not coming back. Like I was on the beach, man, eating like a Serbian hamburger on the beach, beautiful weather. I was like, yeah, I think I could get used to this. Like the hamburger back then, 3-4 years ago, was like $2.
Yeah.
So like the cost of living here, like 4 years ago, was just so low.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was able to have my own apartment, huge apartment. The internet here is amazing. Like I just felt right at home. Yeah. And the cost of living was so much cheaper. So it was like mind blowing to me.
It's crazy for me that you've never like been to Serbia. You've never been to Europe.
I've never been to Europe.
Yeah, you're born and raised in Canada, but like your dad's Serbian, like your grandparents are Serbian.
Yeah. And my mom's American actually.
Yeah. So American. You were born in Canada, raised there, and then like on your second date here, you're like, I'm staying, but it's okay. Like, what was like the mindset then? You're like, okay, I'm gonna stay here, but like, what's for work? What was like that?
Oh yeah, that was the thing. So I'd come on vacation, so I had obviously no plans of working here. Yeah. And so on like day 2, I was like, I'm gonna stay here. And so then I got with my dad, and luckily he's been here for like a bunch of years, and he was like trying to help me out find some work. So I was like, okay, I know how to be a plumber. Let me go try to do that. So after like 2 weeks of actually just chilling, straight vacation mode, I started a job as a plumber, and I couldn't speak Serbian. Like that's the thing, I don't speak Serbian fluently, and so it made it really tough. Like I couldn't be a plumber. They kept asking me to cut pipes. I was slowing everybody down because I didn't understand what they were asking me. Yeah. And so basically that didn't work out. After like about a week, I think I got like 1 week of pay as a plumber here, and then I was like, yeah, this is not gonna like work, you know. And so then my dad was like, hey, my friend like does, you know, dispatch. And I was working in Canada a couple months, like as a, you know, just learning part-time dispatch. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, like, you know, let's try that out. And I got that job in dispatch, and the rest is history, dude. Like I fell in love with trucking. Like
I'm kind of curious, before we get into trucking, so you're a plumber for a week, you got a week's pay. Like what does a plumber make like in a week, like in Serbia? And especially Novi Sad.
I mean, that's the thing. If you're the owner of the plumbing company, like you're making good money. If
you're the owner of the plumbing.
Yeah, like if you own the plumbing company, like, you know, plumbers charge good money. Like any trades out here, if you're the owner of the company, like, you can make great money. Sure. But if you're just like an employee, like you're doing the manual labor, I think the pay was like, dude, I can't remember, like $200 like for a week of like hard labor.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey there, amazing listeners. If you're enjoying what you're hearing on our podcast, we need your support. It will only take a moment, but it would mean the world to us. Please make sure to hit the like button on this video, subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to share with one of your friends that would enjoy our content. Your engagement helps us reach more people and bring more awesome episodes to you. Thanks a million, and thanks for being part of the podcast community.
Okay, so then you got into trucking, because like you were in Novi Sad. We were just spent the whole day in Novi Sad yesterday, which was awesome. Second largest city in Serbia. We're in Belgrade right now, technically New Belgrade, because it's split with old and new. But so you were in Novi Sad, which is like even probably, you know, lower prices or cheaper pay or lower pay than like here in the capital. But like at the same time, there's like a dispatch job. There's like trucking jobs everywhere, right?
Realistically, the pay difference between Novi Sad and Belgrade is so minimal. Okay. It's like, let's call it like between 5 and 10%. Like,
got it.
Like, but the cost of living in Belgrade is at least 20% higher. So
yeah, of course. So how did you get that job in trucking?
My dad, like I told you, my dad's friend was a manager of an office, dispatch office. Okay. And he just said, like, yeah, like, you speak perfect English, like, you know how to use a computer. Yeah. Like, you know, and I told him I'd already been learning dispatch, like, a bit. So the guy just came through, man. He just came through and started learning the business. And, I mean, I fell in love with it. So, like, you're supposed to do training for, like, 2 weeks, you know? Mm-hmm. On, like, the third day, I had, like, 5 trucks. Like, because that market was easy to work in. And, like, I was picking it up on my own. I was going home doing some, like, research, YouTube videos, and so like I like dove fully into this business. Yeah. So like on day 3, I remember I booked my very first load for a truck drive-in Florida, and I didn't know obviously the intricacies of this business. So I booked them a floor-loaded furniture load, and nobody was paying attention to what I was doing. The next morning, it took them like 9 hours to unload that load. We lost the day. Everyone was mad at me, and so you know, like Dude, I love it. I just fell in love with it, man.
Yeah, like, and then like when was that exactly? Like, do you?
It was like 2020, something like that.
Like probably end of 2020.
Yeah, like right. I came here, I think near the end of 2020. So okay. I think November 1st is the first day I started like in this country doing dispatch.
Doing dispatch, okay, 2020, and then like, so you were there in Novi Sad for a couple of years. You worked for a few carriers out there.
Yeah. So I mean, I wouldn't call it company hopping, dude, but like. I just hit a point at the first company where like me and management weren't seeing eye to eye anymore. Yeah. And I was like, I guess I'm gonna try to move on, you know. And then I went to the next company, and then me and management didn't see eye to eye anymore. They actually fired me. That's the only company like they straight up fired me. They're like, you have too much attitude. Like you don't belong. You don't fit into the company culture. I was like, fair, you know, like that's actually pretty fair. And then I got lucky. The next company that I went to was like pretty small. And I ended up like being the only dispatcher there. And then we built an office, man. Like we got an office. I hired some like other dispatchers. Like I was just running stuff out there. And you know, I just kind of outgrew my position there. Like I just felt like I'd done what I could. I accomplished what I needed to there. Yeah. You know, I learned a lot. I learned how to manage employees. That was kind of like the most difficult thing for me. Sure. And luckily I had my dad who's like manages employees too. And he was like really coaching me through like, because you don't like they always say, you know, the top performers in sales or, you know, in dispatch, they become management. Mm-hmm. But just because you're good at doing the job doesn't mean you're good at managing people. Sure. And I learned that, man. Like being a manager is actually so tough, especially if you're also like booking loads too. If you're also doing the day-to-day activities, and then you're managing like the people, like you have to manage the attitudes, you know. And in dispatch, I mean, it's trucking. Like there's some fireball people, man. Like some people, some heavy attitudes. And I mean, I learned so much managing people there, and
I feel like management, like a lot of it is just like psychology and like understanding like people and like trying to figure out like how to like, you know, communicate with them like properly.
I mean, this was kind of my approach. It was like, I don't care what you guys do in this office all day, but like just perform. Like, I don't care. You want to show up like 10 minutes late, an hour late. You want to leave an hour early. I really don't care. But like your performance got to be there, man.
Yeah, for sure. What would you say like is like culturally different between like, let's just say like a dispatcher in Serbia, like workers in Serbia and like someone like in Canada or America, for example?
I mean, I would say right off the bat, like the work mindset. Like I think people here, you either get somebody that's really hungry and wants to kill it and work like 20 hours a day, or you get somebody that's like really not trying to work that hard. Yeah. So I think Serbian mentality is like, let's work the least we can. Well, we like just to afford paying our bills, and let's chill as much as we can. which was honestly good for me because in North America, like we just grind. That's just a grind mindset. Like just work nonstop, don't chill, don't have fun. Like just start stacking your paper, you know?
Yeah.
And I came out here and I realized like, yo, like you gotta work. I still take it very serious, but I started adopting their mentality of like trying to chill a bit more. Yeah. And like trying to like have a social life and like, you know, trying to like sit down and drink a coffee for an hour, like in the middle of the day. And I mean, yeah, like cultural differences in Serbia dispatch is like the people either want to work or they don't. And there's almost no in between, you know? So you have to like really understand the people and where they come from. And people here don't really value money. Like they just want to make enough, dude.
They want to make enough?
They just want to make enough, like the bare minimum money, that's enough for them to live comfortably. And then everything after, they want free time. Yeah. So like I couldn't understand why people don't want to get a promotion. People don't want to put in extra work. Like I couldn't get it at first. And then I started understanding, like, you know what, like, these people are happy getting paid double the minimum wage or minimum national salary. Yeah. And they're more than happy with that. And they can live a great life for their standards. Sure. And yeah, that was a huge like shock to me, you know? Yeah. In North America, dude, people just want to get promoted. People just, they want to make $1 million. Everyone wants to be a millionaire. Like, Serbia is not like that, dude. Like, people just want to be comfortable and happy.
Yeah. Not everyone, but like...
Not everyone, yeah. That's a huge generalization.
Yeah, sure. But like, okay, so like, what's a salary that an average person, like you're saying, that like would be happy with, satisfied with on average?
I mean, this question, if you asked me 3 years ago, 4 years ago when I came here, 1,000 American a month or 1,000 euros, however you want to look at it. Yeah. Most people are like not okay with that. Yeah. And most people are making like 1,200, 1,300, 1,400. If you ask me that question today, like by today's standards, 1,500 is like the bare minimum now. Okay. Like if you're doing dispatch, if you're doing logistics in any capacity, and you're making less than 15, you're not going to be happy. Because the market's brutal and it's just a stressful job.
Yeah, you're working a lot. So like,
I mean, people that make 1,500 plus, like they're chill with that. People are chill with that.
How much were people making money like in 2021, 2022?
I mean, like I said, the average, if you ask me, like the run of the mill, like the guy that comes in on time and leaves on time and puts in no extra work. Yeah. Those guys like make like 1,200 bucks.
Okay, let's just say like you're a manager, you're like, you know, maybe like really crushing it, working hard. Like a few years ago, like the market was great before.
Yeah, the market was wild, dude.
So like, what could like some people like pull in back then?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Like, you have companies that pay American salaries, especially for like the top level employees. And then you have companies where, like, if you ask me, like the Serbian manager who's crushing it, like probably around 3 grand, 4 grand. Yeah. That was like kind of the tops, you know?
Sure, sure.
The guys are making like 2.5 to 4 grand if they were in like management positions, putting in a lot of work.
Definitely. Okay. So like overall, just like to give some context to the viewers, like, so if you look at the audience of Freight Caviar just on Instagram, like 70% around is like US like based, like location wise. I had like 6% from Armenia. Shout out to
shout out to the double broker.
and then we have like a 5% that is Serbian. So like overall, like, you know, it's always been like that more or less. It's never really changed in the last few years. So there's a ton of people, which is like 5% of like what 36,000 followers. Like, you know, there's a lot of people that like are following me in Serbia that are doing dispatch and stuff like that. So it's a big community out here, and that just like kind of goes to show that, like, you know, this is definitely like an important job out here. Like people.
Oh, dude, you can get into a taxi and you have like a 55-year-old taxi driver that doesn't speak any English, and he'll tell you like, what do you do for work? And if you just tell him dispatch, he'll be like, oh, like I know my friend's brother works in dispatch. Like, you could talk to like a random stranger and they know what dispatch is. They know what trucking is. Sure. It's like a coveted job, bro. Like that gives you like some status, you know. People are, oh, they work for an American company. Like everyone assumes we're making like $1 million, which obviously like, you know, it's not true. Yeah. But like the national average salary is $600. Okay. So if you're making 1,000 plus, like you're okay, you're good. Yeah. People are like, you know, like you have some status out here. So
yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been cool for the last few days. Like, I mean, just like visiting a lot of companies. Like there's some people that hit me up like on, you know, Instagram and all these like other social media channels, like that I didn't have the opportunity to hang out with. But like, you know, just like yesterday we had like dinner at like the rooftop in Novi Sad. That was a rooftop. It was like it's called terasa.
Terasa.
You get a view of the
you get a huge view of the city.
Yeah, the city, and they're just like amazing. Like we were hanging out. Like the restaurant had closed like hours beforehand, but like kept it open for us.
Yeah, free caviar opens the doors out here, bro.
It was crazy. And then like the guy we were sitting with, I would tell you who he works for, but he was telling me like he doesn't want like everyone to know, but like great company out of Chicago, lots of trucks.
Great company out of Chicago. Everyone's company is out of Chicago. Dude.
Yeah, no, but like they're known for quality and like they have a good reputation. And he was like literally like he was like, "How are you getting home?" And I told him like we're taking the late train back to New Belgrade, which is like a 40-minute train. And he's like, no, don't worry. We have a private driver. He's gonna take you. He's gonna drop you off. I'm like, damn. So we got home like last night at 2 a.m. because we just ended up hanging out for a lot longer. And the hospitality was just unbelievable everywhere we went. It was just like,
the people know how to treat people. Like people here love foreigners. Like they don't see them very often. You know, like Serbia's like, I would say if you ask, like, I mean, there's some political things happening that's changed the demographic pretty wildly in the past 12 months. But if you asked me this question 2 years ago, like 90% of this population is born and raised here.
Yeah.
Like they don't see a lot of foreigners. They don't see a lot of people from different like backgrounds. And so when they do, like when I speak English, like I'll just be in the city walking around speaking English with my friends. People would be like staring at us. They're like, oh, they're speaking English. Like, you know, so like people love foreigners here.
Yeah.
Like they're like mesmerized by like, oh, where are they from? What are they doing?
Yeah.
So as you walk around camera equipment, dude, people are like, oh, what's going on? Like,
for sure.
So, I mean,
how has life like been different for you in terms of adapting? Did you have to adapt to any changes here, like moving out?
Honestly, I was just talking about this with a friend of mine yesterday. He's Serbian born and raised, and he drives a truck in America.
Okay.
And I used to dispatch, so that's actually how we met.
Yeah.
And we were talking about this exact same thing yesterday, where it's like he was trying to like teach me. I'm still adapting because I don't understand like the mentality of the locals like perfectly. And there's like things that'll happen. Like there's cultural differences where I'm just like I just don't understand how they think.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, I've had to adapt a lot in terms of like understanding that I don't understand like some things, you know, and accepting that, you know what, like I wasn't born here, I wasn't raised here, I'm not even speaking the language perfectly. And I had to adapt a lot in terms of like just accepting that, you know, I'm different. Like it took me a while to understand that like I'm not like a typical, like when I was in Canada, I was too Serbian to be like Canadian. And now I'm in Serbia, I'm too Canadian to be Serbian.
It's so funny you say that because I'm like the same way. In like Chicago, I was like super Polish. I was like the Polish guy in Chicago. Then like in Poland, I'm like the American guy.
Dude, my nickname in Canada was Serb, like Serba, like Serbian.
Yeah.
And my nickname in Serbia is the Canadian. Like, so it's just, yeah, I mean, it's wild, dude. Like,
This episode is brought to you by Isometric Technologies, ISO, the ultimate freight broker's secret weapon. With ISO, you'll have access to industry-wide service performance benchmarks, dynamic carrier and customer scorecards, and powerful analytics so you can understand your service strengths, address your weaknesses, and differentiate your carrier network from the competition. To learn more and get started, visit iso.io today. But so just to give like an overview of like the 4 days here. So like Thursday, like we flew in like in the afternoon. We hung out with you, took us to the city, like the old like landmarks, like the old places to like to see. Then like I went to go visit a company, a brokerage, CW, shout out to CW. And then like we went out to Octo to play like pool. My friend everybody. And you like literally you're like came up to me, you're like, Paul, like I guarantee you like someone's gonna come up to you, they're gonna see your head, they're gonna say something. And like not even 10 minutes had passed and this chick comes up to me and she's like, oh, are you Paul from Great Caviar? And like, it turns out it was Christina from H&D, and they just had a briefing like at their company that like we're visiting them tomorrow. And like they were there with like the whole business development team was there, and we ended up hanging out with them for like 2 hours, drinking rakia, like
just the traditional things.
Yeah, and like it was awesome. Like honestly, like the group of people, like everyone I've met, like that we hung out with, like for like, you know, like we went to get dinner, like pool, like dude, like amazing people, like literally like, you know, so friendly, but also like educated, great English, just good people to be around. You want to be around.
Yeah, I mean that's the cool part about Serbia is that like the younger generations, they're all like university educated. But then the double-edged sword of that is that even if you go to university, the local jobs won't pay you that great. So you have all these people that are like 4, 5, 6 years university educated, the smartest people.
Sure.
And then they just flip into doing some type of online work.
Yeah.
But like they're just heavily educated population, man.
Yeah.
So
for sure. So just the overview, that was Thursday night. Then we come home. I think we got back at 2 a.m. Friday, it was like newsletter, and we had a couple things to do. We got some Serbian food. Then I hit up HMD. I went to Super Ego. I went to Grasshopper Transportation. And then it was so funny because we were hanging out at Grasshopper Transportation, which they had like 200 trucks in Chicago. Really, really great guys, like welcomed us, got food, like
the best.
The best hospitality. Yeah, it was like 5 guys in like a dispatch office that was like in an apartment building. It was like super low key, like in the old part of town. And this guy, like Adam, he brings out like this rakia, homemade rakia.
Nice, so clean, so smooth. Like.
Yeah, and then the dispatcher named Bob, or real name is Boris. They go by nicknames here just because it's easier just to kind of communicate that to Americans. But like, he's like, do you guys want to go to a rave? It's like midnight on a Friday, and I'm like, dude, I'm exhausted. I'm like, I could literally fall asleep at this desk right now. And like, Alex, you're like, let's go play an hour, Paul. And Derek was like, kind of wanted to go. I was kind of shocked that Derek wanted to go. I'm like, you know what? All right, like, let's go.
Derek knows how to party. Yeah. He's good at dancing. Derek was vibing out, man.
We went to this empty warehouse. Well, it was filled with people for like underground rave, but like, it was a deserted warehouse where just like outside there's just trucks parked up. Like, I don't know where these, like, there's like drivers going in the rave or not.
Nah, they're probably delivering the beer and water.
Yeah, the parking lot was just jam packed. Like, it was like a maze to get out of it. It was like unbelievable. Never seen anything like that. And then we ended up partying till like 5 a.m. And I'm like, okay, well, I was like absolutely not planned, but that was like, it was like the Serbian nightlife. It wasn't like the real Serbian nightlife because people like here in Serbia like to go to like what, like the local kind of like.
Yeah, I mean, most people just set up like kafanas, which is like just like a local dive bar type of like atmosphere. Yeah. But yeah, that was like proper party, man.
Yeah, that was proper.
Like, that was huge, dude. Yeah, there was like 4,000 or 5,000 people there.
Yeah, no, that was crazy. That was cool. And then like what, Saturday, slept for like 4 hours, then we got dinner with HMD, like that dinner place, that Serbian food. Dude, that was like...
Dude, honestly, that restaurant was the best restaurant I've been to in Belgrade.
Yeah.
Like, the food was just, everything was on point.
That was unbelievable. And then CW ended up taking us to like the Eternal Derby, which is the Partisans versus the Red Stars Football Club, where it's like the most violent sports rivalry in the world.
Yeah.
And it was the most intense sports game I've ever been to in my life. It was the coolest experience. Literally, there were so many police officers. Like,
oh yeah, man, it's SWAT teams on SWAT teams.
Yeah,
like when you see the guys with the shields, I always trip out.
Wow. People were just ripping out chairs and just throwing at the stadium. I've never seen anything like that before.
Yeah, I mean, our sports is like really serious out here.
Yeah, so that like was awesome experience. And then we ended up hanging out with this, not Armstrong in the company at Charlotte, but Armstrong. There's a smaller one out of Memphis that also got acquired a couple years ago. We ended up getting dinner with them. Cool guys. Like,
those guys were chilling.
Yeah.
And that was nice. Like, that was the kafana style.
Yeah, that was the kafana style.
The traditional Serbian, like, restaurant kind of place to drink and eat and chill with your buddies. And
yeah, Derek was too tired to come, so we don't have any recordings of that, but we have some photos. Cool group of guys, just like honestly hung out. Oh, and then I went to sleep. You ended up partying again.
Yeah, I mean, one thing led to another, man. I ended up being out till like 6 a.m. the next day.
Yeah, and then so like yesterday was Sunday, and we were supposed to like Alex, like right before we like said goodbye on Saturday, he was like, all right, Paul, be at 9:20 at Delta City. We're taking the tram to the train station. They're taking the train station to Novi Sad, and like I wake up, like I look at my phone, and like I'm like, missed phone call at 5 a.m. from Alex. Missed text message from Alex 7 a.m. like you up with the photo of like him working at a DAT team.
I was trying to book some freight.
Yeah, like literally, you know. And then like I'm calling him at 9 a.m. It's like not answering. And like I'm like, all right, he obviously had a rough night and was still sleeping.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it rough, man. I would call it eventful and fun.
Okay, all right. Sorry. Eventful and fun night. And then so like Derek and I ended up going to Novi Sad and we're just hanging out. We hung out with Omar from Swick Logistics, like really cool office over there. And then you ended up hitting me up. Like, we were just drinking rakia the whole day. Derek was also chilling with some rakia. And then you ended up meeting up with us. Vladen ended up coming in for, I think he works for S2B. I forgot.
STV.
STV?
I hope.
I think S2D.
I think STV. So to
okay.
STV.
Okay, got it. So Vladen ended up hanging out with us. And like,
we ended up getting a crew of people yesterday. Nobody's
we just ended up like people just kept adding on to the group.
Yeah.
That was like the coolest part, like, because we just kept growing in numbers.
Yeah, it was like we started with like just like it was me and Derek, and then it was like 3, and then 4, and then like all of a sudden it was like 10 of us. And that was just like a cool, like great people. Novi Sad, you ended up getting that free caviar tattoo.
Yeah, man, we got the
first person in the world to have a free caviar tattoo. Wow,
we gonna rep that one.
Yeah,
represent the brand well.
The best business expense I've ever done.
Yeah, I'm gonna go on file that, and Paul paid for it. So that was part of that.
Well, yeah, of course, but like that was awesome.
Business expense.
And then we ended up hanging out at like that restaurant the whole night, and it was just like there were so many other people that reached out to me. I just didn't have time to like like, you know, hang out with them. But like if someone were to come here, like any broker that would come here, it would be like literally one of the best business trips you could make.
Dude, Serbia is one of the best business trips you can make if you work in logistics. And if you don't work in logistics, it's just a great vacation spot. But yeah, if you work in logistics in any capacity and you just come through Serbia, like you'll have people to meet up with, talk to, network with. I mean, for me, I was following you around the whole trip, man. I networked with so many people out here.
So many people,
Dude, I met so many cool people out here that I'm like gonna, you know, form some type of business relationships with. And I mean, dude, it was like, I think we met like over 200 people.
Yeah, no, we met a lot of people.
Like so many people.
Like it's crazy. Like Omar, we hung out with him yesterday. Like he lives in Novi Sad, and he literally just like, he's gonna be at TIA next month in Phoenix, so we're gonna see each other next month too.
Yeah.
So it's like, you know, it's so small world. Like, you know, people like obviously like there's like Chicago, Chattanooga, like there's all these freight hubs in like America. Like Serbia, like every city, major city in Serbia has like a freight hub.
Dude, every single city, if you pull up Serbia that has like bolded letters on Google Maps, like has a freight community. Like, if the city's big enough to get a name on Google Maps, it's big enough to be a freight community.
Like there's what Kragujevac, which is KG. Like that's a huge. Like,
I call it KG. I can't pronounce it too well.
KG's like the license plate. Like the
that's the license plate. You got KG, you got Niš, you got Belgrade, you got Novi Sad. And that's kind of it. I mean, a lot of people work from home. I mean, you got smaller places like Čačak has a freight community. It's like a village, and they have a freight community, like offices in this village. Like it's crazy, then. Like
that's so cool. Like I'm so happy I came here because I've been like it's been on my mind for years. Like ever since I was a broker, like in 2015, just starting off. I remember like I learned I think it was H&D or like a couple other like trucking companies had offices out here. I'm like, wow, that's so cool. And then like another company I used to work with, Experior, had an office like in Poland. I'm like, wow, like, you know, I'm like, I was born in Chicago, but like my parents are Polish, so I just like spent a lot of time in Poland. I'm like, that's so cool. I kind of want to do that, like live out there and work for the U.S. market. That sounds like a dream, you know? Like,
I mean, that's the part they always say, like, logistics is sexy because you can do it anywhere in the world. But then people get like upset that people are doing it everywhere in the world. It doesn't make any sense.
There are definitely like, some people don't like it.
Some people want the freedom to work 2 weeks on vacation in like Mexico or like wherever, Argentina, wherever they want to go on vacation. They're happy that they can still do operations for those 2 weeks. But then people like living full time, enjoying it like full time. Like they're mad about that for some reason, you know? So I never understood it, man. I mean, I understand that there's a lot of bad reputation around certain countries and outsourcing. And I mean, there's like, you've met the people. There's way more serious, like good reputation companies than there are bad ones.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it last night. Like, honestly, I love the 80-20 rule. Like, 80% of the companies here are like amazing, you know, like great companies, like great people. And like, then you're gonna find like, you know, some companies that maybe are a little bit shady, but that's like 20% of the people.
I mean, that's everything, man. That's every industry, every business, brokers, dispatchers, you know, you're gonna have bad apples anywhere you go, man.
For sure.
So I think it's just unfair to like label all outsourcing as like scammers.
Dude,
like it's insane to say that.
If I had a brokerage, like or a trucking company for that matter, I would 100% open up an office in Serbia.
With Serbia, to me,
there's so much talent here,
dude. The Serbia to me is the high standard of operations. Like you just have to find the right manager that's gonna like, you know, make sure that the quality doesn't suffer. As soon as you find like the right management for your office in Serbia, you're gonna have just rock star team, dude. So it really comes down to that, because if you hire the wrong manager, your office might not hold up to the quality, you know. But a lot of people, what they do is they'll send like one guy or like girl, you know, one person from the States, and then they'll just make them the manager. Like what they did with you and everything.
I mean, I did that for 3 years in Kiev.
So I mean, dude, Serbia is killing it, man. I mean, everyone speaks English. Everyone knows how to use a computer. I would say like the demographic is like super young. Like most people in logistics are like under the age of 30. Okay. Like a huge majority is between the ages of like 20 and like 28.
Sure.
And then you got like the management side where everybody's like 28 to 35. But like you don't see a lot of people over the age of 40 working in logistics out here.
Sure. I mean, it's a little bit tough because like it's something like that we didn't mention yet on this podcast is like the fact that like if you're working on the U.S. market, you're working U.S. hours in Serbia, so you're starting work at like what 2 p.m.
2 to 11, man.
2 to 11. Like daylight savings time just started in America, so it's actually a 6-hour difference for the next 3 weeks. So like during
wait, did that just start today?
Yeah, it's like right now it's already 8 a.m. in Chicago.
Oh,
do you have to get going?
No, they're good.
Yeah, it's 8 a.m. in Chicago. Like right now it's 2 p.m. So it's only a 6-hour time difference for the next 3 weeks, but typically it's a 7-hour time difference. So you're like, if you have a family, you have a wife, like it's kind of tough to manage unless.
It's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, you have to really. I think the way a lot of people navigate around that is that people that are really serious about logistics, if they have like a family, like a wife or like a girlfriend, or like however you look at it, like they'll make their significant other enter the same industry because then you get the same working hours, you're on the same schedule. That's one way people combat that. But yeah, if you have
your girlfriend and then
yeah, I put her into track and trace. Yeah. She's learning the industry, and I mean, because it was weird because she worked 8 to 4 local time. I worked 2 to 11. Like we never saw each other, and now she's working the same hours as me. It's a lot easier. So
that's cool. But yeah, this trip, honestly, like.
Bro, like 11 out of 10. Like,
100%.
It's so
100%.
So fun.
Like, I didn't. It's cool because like I had a few Americans like message me like that they've been to Serbia because they visited companies, and like we had one carrier tell us like that C.H. Robinson visited them last year, that like Arrival Logistics is visiting them next month. Like so, like there's actually brokers coming out here right now, like to like visit, and it's like once you visit, you're like okay, like. This place is pretty cool. Like, there's great people out here that you want to like actually like work with.
Well, I mean, dude, we have carriers like that are huge. Like, we have 1,000+ truck carriers.
Yeah.
Like, if you're a brokerage out there doing millions of dollars of business, like you might as well come check out the operations team and meet them.
And the hospitality's off the charts.
Off the charts, dude.
Like honestly, it's like I kind of hate to admit it, but I've like. Spent like $100 on the strip so far.
I mean, like everything is much cheaper, but like Serbians have a mentality where like if you have a guest, like especially like a foreign guest, like when you go with your buddies, like somebody usually just picks who's gonna pay for everybody. Like because I mean it's not so expensive to pay for like 5 people's drinks.
Sure.
Like if you go out with like 5 people, you drink like 5 beers each, pay like $50.
Yeah.
I mean, like when I go out with my friends, we all just like rotate. Like somebody just picks up the bill every time. We all switch. So
sure.
I mean, Serbian hospitality is like if you're with somebody, if you don't see them a lot, we like to treat each other.
Yeah.
Let me buy you dinner. Next time you'll buy me dinner. This kind of thing. So.
Yeah. Let's say like an American wants to come out here, like what would you like tell them like in terms of like planning it or like kind of like trying to figure out like where should they go, like what would you like?
I mean, my best advice to anybody that wants to come out to Serbia, whether it be for networking, logistics, or just on vacation, I would recommend staying in Novi Sad and then just visiting Belgrade for a day or two. It's up to you to each their own. I think Novi Sad's a lot more walkable. I mean, it has a beautiful beach in the summertime. It's a lot easier.
On the river. Yeah,
right on there. It's the best beach, man. But I would recommend staying in Novi Sad, visiting Belgrade. It's just I don't know how to plan it, man. You get a hotel, you come with $1,000 in your pocket, you're good for 2 weeks. Like,
yeah.
I mean, once you pay your hotel, you need about $500 a week, and you'll be able to do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
You want to go out to dinner every night, breakfast every day. I mean, you come with $1,000, 14 days here for spending money, you're more than fine.
Yeah.
So, which is wild to say that, right? Like, because if you live in America, $1,000, that's like, just enough for a week.
A couple days.
Yeah,
for sure. Damn. It's wild that you haven't been back to Canada ever since you moved here.
I just don't see the reason why. Like, I have a great life here, beautiful apartment, like my family's out here. I have like great girlfriend. So I just don't see like any benefit to going back to Canada like at this moment, or like going like I want to go to the States to do some networking and stuff. I've been planning like I was trying to go to broker carrier, some of that kind of starting to fall through. But dude, I don't know, you can't pay me to leave Serbia, man. It's like there's a lot of things that's wrong with this country, and it's kind of like a train that's on fire, but you can't look away from it. Like it's our train that's on fire.
Yeah.
So, I love this country, man. I love the people. I love the opportunities out here with logistics. Because it's like Chattanooga, man. Like, you can meet like 50 companies if you want.
Yeah, literally. Like, there's like hundreds of companies.
Dude, like,
100.
It's insane.
It's a small country, so you could like actually like go around like.
Yeah, you could actually just walk around and just be like, oh, I work with Freight Caviar because I have this and just be like, I want to tour your office. So I just start setting them up. Like,
No.
so
No, it's been awesome, dude. Honestly, you made this trip so much better.
wow, thanks, bro. Like, I mean,
You've just been hanging out. Like Alex is like hanging around with us the whole time. The last 4 days. Yeah, it's been awesome.
it's been fun. Thanks for coming out here, guys. I mean, like, I don't know what else to say. Like, it was just an insane 4 days. Yeah, you got to come back.
You gotta come back. There's so many companies that are like, dude, like yesterday, like the company that like gave us like a private driver to drive us home was like, yo, next time just let me know when you're coming. We'll buy the tickets, buy the hotel. Like every company wants me to come out like and do some more.
Dude, everyone in Serbia that works in logistics knows Freight Caviar. Like I think when you start logistics, the first thing you do is like follow Freight Caviar. Like that's just like just a unwritten rule in logistics out here, man.
Man, I love that. I love that. That's wild.
Yeah, but you guys are the first trucking company I followed. Like my first day in Serbia, like, hey, you know Freight Caviar? Just like follow that. Like I was like, cool.
Wow, that's so cool. That's amazing.
And Boris Panov is like popping out here.
Shout out to Boris.
Yeah, between Freight Caviar and Boris, that's like the two.
Yeah. Also, everyone was talking about Bob from Music History.
Yeah.
FaceTime Bob yesterday.
Yeah, Bob is also popping out here.
Yeah.
Bob's got a lot of influence. Tell Bob to come through. Bob's got a.
Bob said he wants to come to Europe next month. He said he's gonna stop by if he can.
Hey, tell Bob to come through. I'll put your tour guide there too.
Dude, literally, like, yeah, that'd be sweet.
Take Bob to a rave too. Yeah, Bob comes through, man. He's more than welcome anytime. Anybody that watches this, want to come to Serbia, hit me up, man.
Yeah, for sure. Aleks Bates.
I'm down to meet everybody. Aleks Bates, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, Aleks Bates from the Real Freight Talk. Real Freight Talk.
Real Freight Talk.
Real Freight Talk. Yeah. Good deal, man. Dude, thank you so much.
Hey, respect, bro.
It's been awesome.
Thanks for tuning in to the Daily Freight Caviar podcast. If you enjoyed the podcast, or if you didn't, leave a review. Let me know what you think. I appreciate any feedback. If you'd like to have more Freight Caviar content, go to freightcaviar.com and subscribe to my email newsletter.